many missing souls. So little time. Welcome to Mysterious Mysteries. I'm your host, Mr. Mysterious. Tonight we take a long and terrible, dreadful journey into the abyss of hell. Two brothers, or are they cousins, are who's who of influential people in the UFO world. A small, tight-knit community ravaged by murder. All of these ufologists have one thing in common: their last interview. It all stems back to the Cousins brothers. A set of twins from the island of Hawaii. All the disappearances in the name of ufology all lead back to these boys. Who are these cousins? These brothers? Third phase of moon. Mysterious. Mystery. Mysterious. Our investigation begins with Dr. Roger Lear, noted podiatrist. He was a juggernaut in the UFO community, loved by millions, worshipped by millions more. He was so young and full of life, until the day he met them. Blake and Brent Cousin, known locally as the Blood Brothers. Next we have Jesse Marcel Jr., son of Major Jesse Marcel, head of command of the crash and retrieval of an alien spacecraft in Roswell, New Mexico. Both father and son may have been taken out, but the twins' thirst for blood was unquenchable, so they moved on to bigger game. The sixth man who walked on the moon, Dr. Edgar Mitchell. His last interview was beautiful, and it will never be seen because it was erased. But then the boys paid $100 and retrieved the lost footage, so it can be seen one last time. You will be missed, Doctor. You will be missed. But if you think death is the worst thing that could happen, you better think again. Take, for instance, the case of Stan Romanak. Merely hours after his interview with Third Phase of Moon, he was arrested for child pornography. He will now spend the next 10 years getting probed, but not by an alien, but by a man named Jimbo, who will brutalize his butthole nightly, pounding it into pure biscuit dough. A fate worse than death. Then you have this man, Ron Gardner, a pathological liar with delusional psychosis. He was partners with Dan Burish, another pathological liar. Together, these two men were lying pieces of shit, and yet he gave his last interview to the Blood Brothers. He was only 29 when he died. However, he looked much, much older because the years of pathological lying has left his body wilted and disheveled. Perhaps it was a good thing that the boys took this man out. One less fraud on the streets. Let's just call it thinning the herd. Then we have Jim Channon, former commander of the Earth First Battalion, an elite group of men trained in psychic warfare and remote viewing. Unfortunately, he never saw this coming. But don't be fooled into believing just because you're not doing an interview with these guys that you're somehow safe. As with the case of Tyler Glockner from Security 10. He did only ask for a link to a video, but that was enough to drive him off the road, destroying his motorcycle and crippling his body. So remember, if you ever encounter the Double Mint Gum posse, always turn down their interviews. Only a human so incredibly stupid and ignorant would ever do an interview with these two killers.
Freedom! Yes. Oh, fuck my life. Oh. Hello? Yes, this is UFO Proof. Who's this? Blake and Brent Cousins from Third Phase of Moon? Well, sure, I'll do an interview with you guys. You got it. I'll talk to you then. Baby, I'm gonna be famous! Yes!
But as one more piece of evidence to show how these brothers, aka blood brothers, aka blonde widows, aka the ponytail stranglers, have such disdain for this world. Out of all these great ufologists who got only one interview and were taken out, somehow Robert Bingham continues to survive. Do they allow this freak to stay on this planet merely to drive us all insane? Do they get some kind of guilty pleasure from watching us squirm? So, if your last interview just happens to be with Third Phase of Moon, pay attention, as it might truly be your very last. Goodbye for now. Alright guys, so check this out. We got what appears to be a black sphere UFO. And I came across this footage, and you know, because of my black sphere encounter, you know, I love throwing this anytime I find one, I want to throw it up. Now this is difficult because at this distance it's hard to say, is it a balloon, you know, because like it doesn't do any kind of maneuvers or anything like that would show you that it's something different, but it does appear to be like moving slowly, but it's really hard to tell. But you know, because of my encounter with the black sphere UFO, and for those of you who don't know, I did have a very, very close encounter with a black sphere UFO. The UFO was about 4 feet in diameter, and it was about 8 feet above me, and when I was sitting down at the time. And so if I would have stood up, because I'm about 6'1", 6'2", something around there, if I would have stood up, I could have touched it. This is how close this thing was. And I've heard many other reports of witnesses seeing the exact same craft, exact same size and everything. And so, I mean, there's definitely something to that. I mean, I can say that for sure. I don't know what's in it. I don't know what's inside the little ball. If it's a alien in there, if it's a remote control, if it's a pilot, if it what, I have no idea. But if something's inside of it, like for sure, there's some kind of
intelligence to it. I believe this comes from Mexico City. You know, that's what sucks about Mexico now, is like Jaime Maussan has like made it so crazy for people out there. All the sky watchers and stuff, they all get stuck on balloons, and like these guys cannot tell the difference between a UFO and a fucking balloon. Like those, they'll have a balloon arch, and you know, that's what we call it, a balloon arch. Out there they call it an Ibani. It's just a fucking balloon arch just floating around. You know, but I don't know. Interesting piece of footage. I like this how it comes right past the plane here. Well, the plane. I like how the plane's in the background, you know, flying over it. I don't know what happens to the guy's footage here. Here it is, coming up here. Like it just kind of loses the sphere, and then he finally finds it, gets it back. He's like, "Ah, fine, fuck you, go, you son of a bitch. You know I'm looking everywhere for you." I'm not sure when this was filmed. It was a few years back. If you can't tell by the terrible quality of video. It's still there. So this is a pretty long sighting. I think the whole video was about 5 minutes or something. Interesting catch though. I would love to see it like up close to see what it was. See, it's definitely moving, but who knows? Alright, well, don't forget to pick up the new UFO proof merchandise, the new muscle shirt, the brand new hat, favorite of all, Oakley name brand UFO proof hat. So go pick up yours. There will be a link in the description for my PayPal. That's where you're ordering it directly from me. It's coming straight from me to you. My backpack, UFO proof shorts, go pick them up. Limited time only, limited supply. So get yours while you can. Alright, you guys, UFO proof out.